Hello, it's Kylie from Theme Parks for Grown-Ups and also Magic Side Hustle, how to become a Disney travel planner or amplify your business as a travel agent. Today we are talking about something exciting because it's something that all of you wanted me to talk about. A little bit ago I sent out a survey and I was like, what should we talk about next? I know people are really interested in marketing, so what area should we focus on? I asked about referrals and planning fees and some other things, some newsletters, and the last one was social media. And that one blew up. Everybody wanted to learn about social media marketing and how to use it in their business as a travel agent. So that's what we're going to talk about today. And another thing, a lot of people wanted to know about Instagram specifically, so we're going to delve into that as well. We've got a lot to talk about, and hopefully you'll learn a lot. And if you have any more questions, you can pop them in the comments below. And if you're new here, you can subscribe, but also there's some freebies in the description too if you're interested. I'll talk about them more at the end of this video, but if you want a spoiler alert, you can go down there. All right, let's get started. Okay, so this is what the agenda is for today for social media for travel agents. First, we're going to start with choosing a platform. We're going to start with one platform that you're comfortable with, and I'll tell you the pros and cons of which platform you should start with and how to expand from there. And then I'll give you my special secret content formula. This is what I use when I put out any sort of post on any sort of social media outlet. And it's pretty simple, and after a while it will come really naturally to you when you're putting out things on the internet and trying to market. And then the third thing is I'll give you some engaging content ideas. What is most clickable? What are things that you can post that people will take action on, that sort of thing. And then the last one, we'll talk about growing your audience. So very excited, full agenda. Hopefully I'll answer all of your questions. All right, let's get started. Let's start with the more popular one, well-known obviously, Facebook. What are the pros and cons of using Facebook? Before I get started though, I want to talk about why I'm saying choose one platform and go from there. So if you're just getting started out and you're not really sure where to go, if you start on all platforms all at once, you're going to get so overwhelmed with how many things you want to post on each one and how to grow your audience on each one and all that. So I say choose one that is best for you, that you enjoy, that you have fun on. Maybe that's where all your people are, so maybe you're in a niche that's more Instagrammable. I know that's possible for me because Disney and Universal is very beautiful and travel niche in general is very Instagrammable, but maybe you have a bunch of friends on Facebook and that's where you share everything and that's where you are all the time. Either way, choose one, focus on it, and then once you've focused on it and you've gotten really great at it and you're an expert, then you can branch out a little bit. I've definitely overwhelmed myself in the past with trying to do too many things at once. I'll also show you how to post on all platforms, cross-promote, so you're not working too hard once you do expand to other social platforms. But for now, start with one that you enjoy and then expand from there. So I'll tell you kind of the pros and cons of each when marketing as far as a travel agent. So Facebook is great because there's a huge audience. It's the biggest platform out there and more people are on Facebook than anything else. So of course it's going to be easy for you to share things because it will be lots of people that you already know. And I totally advise, if you're going to Facebook first, that you invite all of your friends and family to join and like your page. Don't be shy about this because this is what's really going to launch it off, and those people are going to want to share it, and that's how you gain traction, because all of your people who are already with you and are supporting you in your new endeavor are going to help you get there as well. So I encourage that on all platforms, but Facebook especially is kind of what you need to do in order to get those likes and those comments and those engagements. And then once you create a page and you put out some content, then you can share it to your friends and family on your personal page. And so it's really easy to kind of share between the two. That's why I kind of like Facebook. And the last thing is, the last positive thing would be it's great for advertisements. I totally advise doing some advertisements, and if you do, Facebook is the king as far as ads go. They have a great system in order to put an ad together, and there are lots of courses out there in order for you to learn how to put an ad together and how to put it on Facebook. So I advise looking into that. Do a little investment, and if you're looking for putting some ads in your local vicinity and reaching out there, then Facebook is great for that. As far as a con, in the last several years, Facebook has become really difficult to get your name out there unless you're doing ads, unless you're paying for ads. It kind of became a pay-to-play situation, which a lot of people say it's not, but it is a lot easier to pay for an ad and then get your coverage that way. Otherwise, the pages have become almost invisible. If you'll notice this, that smaller business pages, you might not see those posts every time they come up. One way to kind of combat that is to ask your followers to follow your page and the notifications. And so there's a way to like click and be like, okay, whenever this page is creating something new, you'll get a little notification so they can go to your page. So encourage them to do that if you want to get more traction on Facebook. Otherwise, it's becoming really, really difficult to get those small business content out into the world and have it easily be shareable on Facebook over the years, because they're trying to drive you to purchase ads. Same as kind of with Instagram, because Instagram is owned by Facebook, but it's a little bit different. So that's Facebook. And if you enjoy Facebook, then I say go for it. Okay, next one we're going to talk about is Twitter and the pros and cons of Twitter. I'm not really a Twitter user, but I have been on there for a long time. Basically what I did is I had a personal Twitter account for years, and then I just turned it into my business Twitter just because I didn't really use it very much as a personal account. So I was like, I have some followers here. I'll go ahead and just use this for my business account. You can do that if you want to transfer it totally over and make it about your business or what have you, or you can create a totally different one. I don't advise mixing and making it a personal and a business page. You want to keep it very niched to, it all has to be relevant to travel or whatever you're talking about that is very relevant to what you're talking, to whatever niche that you've chosen. So for me, I have Disney, Universal, theme parks, that sort of thing. So I'm talking about family-oriented travel, even though I'm more of a grown-up audience. Generally, I'm only talking about those type of things. I might talk about other travel other times, but for the most part my Twitter is all about that, and I advise you doing that for all of your platforms and keep your personal life really out of it, unless you're on Instagram, and I'll get to that in a second. As far as the pros and cons of what Twitter is all about, so Twitter is best for creating a community, which is very, very, very important when you are marketing and trying to create what they call a tribe. So these are your raving fans. These are the people, the clients that come back to you over and over and over again, who are like, I love this person, they're the greatest travel agent. And that is great for Twitter because it's really easy to connect with people who are like-minded. So you can definitely find a bunch of people on there who are all about Disney, and I've followed them over the years. They followed me. There's lots of conversation, and so it's easy to create that tribe and have those people get the word out about you because they enjoy your company, and your clients can follow you on Twitter and talk to you and ask you questions easily. It's easily connectable is what I'm trying to say. Other platforms are a little bit more difficult, but Twitter, you can follow each other and then have conversations, and they can comment on your stuff way easier than a lot of other platforms. Flexible content creation, and so this kind of goes for Facebook too, but there are a lot of different things you can put on Twitter, so like links and some short videos and things like that. Facebook is good for that as well, but you'll see that on others it's not quite so easy, like Instagram and TikTok. They're not really useful as far as like putting links in places that are easy for people to click on, and so I think that Twitter does a good job of that too, of not being afraid of somebody leaving the app because they clicked a link. And I know that other platforms don't really like that, so, or YouTube I think is another one that kind of is just like, will make it difficult for them to like leave YouTube, right, because they want you to stay on that app. And so Twitter is pretty flexible in that way. As far as a con goes, you are limited to 280 characters, so you have to stay concise in your message, and when you're talking to your audience, it has to be short, concise, this is what I'm trying to get at, and get it out there in a way that grabs their attention. So it is really, it can be difficult as far as marketing goes to grab that attention and make somebody want to click on something in only 280 characters. That said, it is pretty useful because you don't want to be long-winded most of the time either on these social platforms, because people get bored. So it is good practice, and if you get good at it and you just keep practicing to like keep everything concise and actionable, people want to click on that, people want to talk to you, and keep it in within that, you know, space of characters, then you'd be great. And then in drama. So this is where drama is born, is on Twitter, I feel like. It's born in other places, but Twitter in particular is very dramatic, and you definitely learned that over the years as far as being in a lot of any niche basically is pretty dramatic. Something happens, something changes as far as travel goes. It always happens in the Disney community. Something changes, something is taken away, and it just flares up all over Twitter. And you can post the wrong thing, and then people are gonna get mad at you or report you or whatever. And Facebook is like this too. There's a lot of drama on Facebook. But Twitter in particular, it just kind of breeds it somehow. And I think it's mostly because of the community engagement. Like I said, it's really easy to engage, and that can be a pro, and sometimes it can be a con. So try to limit the drama when you are on Twitter, and try not to get involved in people's things. Like if you see something you disagree with, try to keep it as professional as possible, because it is your business page basically, and that's where people are going to make sure that you're legitimate and that you're professional. So that's Twitter. Alrighty, YouTube. So I wasn't going to talk about YouTube because it is kind of for people who've been in the business for a while, and you've gotten a hold of all these other social media aspects, and you're kind of ready to advance and do some other things. Because it's difficult to share these things, but it's kind of like starting a blog. There's just a lot of things you have to learn in order to start your YouTube channel, like video editing and creating relevant content. So if you're nearby a location as far as the travel destinations go, then that's really great. But I did get some requests about talking about it, so I'll talk about it briefly. Because I have a YouTube channel. I didn't get started right away on YouTube. I was on Facebook and Instagram before I was on YouTube, and then I kind of branched out from there. That said, YouTube is just fantastic for travel niche, obviously. So if you're going on a trip and you want to do some great tips or do a restaurant review, hotel reviews are fantastic, by the way. If you can review a hotel that no one else has been to in the middle of nowhere, that's fantastic, because people are looking for their reviews, and they want honest reviews, and they want to see what the hotel room looks like on the inside, not just the pictures on the internet. They want to hear from a real person. Restaurant reviews are the same. I do a lot of theme park reviews, and there's so much planning that goes into a theme park, so I have just tons of planning videos about that, and also just day in the life sort of things, like new things that are happening at Universal, and I'll go down there because everything's changing all the time. There's lots of content ideas that you can do as far as the travel niche on YouTube. It's fantastic. It's just a big learning curve. I'm not saying that it's totally impossible. You should absolutely go for it if you love YouTube and you want to learn how to edit videos. I'm not great at editing videos. I just do it, and I kind of learned along the way, and it's kind of clunky, but as long as I'm getting the good information out there, it doesn't quite matter, because I'm finding things that people need and what they want to learn about, and then I put it out on YouTube and create a video about it. Another great idea for YouTube in general, if you're a travel agent, you can create content for your current clients. So if you want to say, hey, you should go stay at this hotel, for instance. I've definitely done this before. Like, this was my stay at that hotel. Here is a video of me staying at the hotel, and here's what it looks like on the inside. And then that will be helpful for them when they make a decision, like, yeah, I want to stay at that hotel, and you're quoting them or whatever. It's good if you're a travel agent, but it's also just fun to do. So that's why people start YouTube channels. And as far as a con, I've kind of talked about it, but it's also hard to create a community within YouTube. It takes a little bit more practice, because it's not necessarily a shareable platform. It's not like on Facebook where I can share it to a bunch of my friends or make an announcement. You have to be subscribed to your YouTube channel. They have to find you. It takes a while to like rank on YouTube and get on that first page. There's lots of different aspects. Like I said, learning curve, but it can be totally worth it, because I enjoy YouTube over all platforms. So pros and cons of that. Yeah, and so hopefully that's kind of answers some of your questions. If you have more questions about YouTube, I'm happy to answer it, but we're gonna move on to other platforms, because this is about all social media, not just YouTube. So maybe I'll make a whole video about it if I get more interest in it. So if it interests you, then like, let me know. Alrighty, there are a lot of other platforms, but this is where we're gonna end as far as an overview of different social media platforms for travel agents. These are kind of the main ones to choose from. So I'm going to end with Instagram, and then we're going to look at some examples from my own personal Instagram. because you guys are kind of interested in more about Instagram than the other ones, so we'll kind of dive deep into that. As far as other platforms, there's like TikTok, there's now Clubhouse, which is an interesting one that's brand new. But these are the 4 core ones, and usually what beginners start out with, or budding travel agents who want to engage in social media, like this is what you should start off with, because the audiences are really big and they're usually the right demographic and who are ready to like buy travel and go on vacations. So yeah, so as far as Instagram, it's great because it's fantastic for travel. Like, you can put up all these beautiful photos, and it's really easy to grab attention on Instagram when you have a bunch of beautiful photos, and it's good to keep it raw too, and like I just post pictures of my own face and keep it natural, so it's a mix of both. Like, that's why I kind of like Instagram, because it can be beautiful and curated in this beautiful picture of Cinderella Castle, but in my stories it's just like me drinking coffee, talking about being a travel agent and being more real. So it's a lot of flexibility in that. It's not so stark like Facebook is. It's like all business. You can file out the drama, like it's a little harder to like comment on an Instagram post and have it be seen, because you have to like click on a picture in order to see the comments, as opposed to Twitter, which you can always see that drama happening. It's right in front of your face, so it's a little easier to like weed out the drama. Fantastic for building a community. That's what it's all about. That's what Instagram wants you to do. They want you to engage with other people. They want you to comment on other pictures, visit their Instagram stories, like their posts. Like, it's all about building a tribe on Instagram. That's what it's mainly about, and it's more about building your brand, other than like getting a bunch of website clicks. So as far as like building a tribe, building a brand, finding clients who are going to love you and follow you, Instagram's great. That's why people are interested in it, why they wanted to talk to me about it. I'm always on Instagram, and that's my go-to platform for now. And as far as the cons go, it's not easily shareable at all. So you might post a picture and someone can post that to their Instagram story, or they can repost it later, but it's not like you're sharing a link to anything. So in Facebook, post a link, somebody can share that, somebody can click that link and go directly to your website. It's not that easy on Instagram, and I'm sure most of you know who are on it is like that. Lots of people will say, go to link in my bio to learn more, and that's the way that we get people to go to our websites. But you're still not going to get a ton of link clicks, and so it's more about building your tribe on Instagram and building that brand awareness, and so people can find you and engage with you, which is all good and well and something you need, but it is difficult to get people to click your links or take action. But I will help you with a few ways that I've learned over the years and how to get your followers to kind of take action and take the next step with you. So since we're on this Instagram roll right now, we're gonna go to the next slide and I will show you what I'm talking about. Okay, so this is my secret formula and how to get your followers to convert to clients. And it's not really a secret formula, it's kind of what everybody uses. A lot of marketers use this formula because it seems to work. It's just like writing an essay or something. You know how everything has to have a beginning, middle, and end? That's the way it is for every social media post that you should write. And that goes for anything. So if you're writing a tweet or a Facebook post or putting a post on Instagram, there should be an order of operations of what you should do in order to get people to either engage, click a link, buy something, whatever your end game is. There should always be an end game, right? Okay, so the first thing you're gonna do is grab your follower, and that can be in a multitude of ways. It can be a picture, which usually grabs people most of the time, but when you're writing something in a caption, like, it should definitely start off with something really, really strong to like grab their attention. That could be a question, a really bold statement, all caps, like, hey, look at this, like something that's just like, hey, I need to read this, I need to stop and I need to read this. right now. So there needs to be some sort of urgency behind it that makes your follower want to stop and be like, oh, I need to pay attention to this. What's going on here, right? So that'll be your first step. And then your second step is to deliver on that thing that you just did. So deliver on the fact that you made it so urgent that they had to stop in their tracks and read what you had to say. That said, it doesn't have to be anything monumental, like you don't have to give them the recipe for the secret of life or something, but you should give them that's useful or helpful or positive, something that's gonna delight their day. That could be, here's a great restaurant that you should know about, and this is what I ate and it was delicious, or it was terrible. So something that's going to help them in the long run. As far as travel goes, there's so many ways that you can grab their attention and help them out. So if you're like, hey, here's a real beautiful picture of Paris, and you're like, you know that Paris is really stinky? Well, this is how you have a good time even though it's stinky. I have no idea, that was a really bad example, but you know what I mean? So like you start with grabbing their attention and then you follow up with something that's going to be useful for them, whether that's a planning tip or a review, or maybe you're just trying to engage with them. So you're like, hey, I went to this really cool place, like check it out in my Instagram stories, which brings me to my last one actually, which is call to action. So I kind of gave you all of that in that one little sentence just now. I said, hey, you got to pay attention to this. There's this new restaurant. That's the second part, so that's the useful part. And to learn more about it, go to my stories. And that's the call to action. That's going to make them do something, right? So your call to action can be a multitude of things. It can be clicking a link. It can engagement. It can be like commenting, comment below. It can be a subscription. It can be buying something like, hey, this is on sale right now, go to this link, click on it and buy it. Dang it, you won't say it like that, but in a way that convinces them to take that action. And so everything that you do on your social media platforms should have a end game. And what that can mean is a multitude of things. It could just mean having a conversation. Like, I stayed at this hotel and I really liked it. Have you stayed at this hotel? Tell me about it. Let's have a conversation about it. Which means that your post will get a lot more engagement, more followers will come, more people will want to join your tribe. Or it could be like, hey, I don't know, there's this great deal on a cruise right now. This is fantastic and it's ending tonight. Email me for information, we'll get you hooked up. That sort of thing. So whatever it is, grab their attention, give them useful information, and then tell them what to do right afterwards. You kind of have to hold their hand. So you have to be like, hey, this is what I want you to do right now. Only don't be so mean. Like, invite them to do something for you. And we're gonna take a field trip so I can show you exactly what I mean and give you some examples. A widespread of examples, because my Instagram's kind of all over the place as far as how I use this method. But before that, I want to tell you that there's a bonus tip, which is to share these posts that you're making. So if you make a post on Facebook, and this kind of comes later once you've kind of gotten comfortable with all platforms. So you've focused on, we're going to use Instagram because that's what we're talking about. You focus on Instagram and now you've moved on to Facebook, which is easy to kind of cross promote because they're now connected. So there's a little button that says, hey, do you want to like put this on Facebook too? And you say yeah, because you don't want to create two posts. So that's what I'm saying about sharing. Go ahead and cross promote across all those platforms once you get them set up. And that will give you less work to do. So you're not like creating posts for each platform. It's fine if your followers are following you on Facebook and Instagram. That just means they're going to see it twice and they might click it. They might have more of an urgency to click it because they've seen it twice. That's why you see commercials over and over and over again, because it really gets into your brain and you're like, okay, fine, I will look into whatever this is because I've seen this commercial 5 times and it sticks in your brain. So don't worry about it being shared too often. Go ahead and reshare it after a few days or a week or so. And so you're having less to do, less work, but you're still giving out good information and you're telling all of your people no matter where they are. But that comes a little bit later once you've created audiences on different platforms. So now we are going to take a little field trip and look into what I'm talking about as far as Instagram posts and how I use this formula. Okay, so here we are. We are at my profile. This is Theme Parks for Grown-Ups. This is my Instagram account. As you can see, You may be following people that have like 10,000 followers. Mine is considered a small audience. I'm going to say that, but I know that there are a lot of people out there who have like 2 followers who are like 3,000 people is not a small audience. I totally agree with you, because 3,000 people is plenty enough, honestly. As far as creating an engaging engaging community, getting people to click on things, you don't need that many followers. You just need people who like to see your posts, who enjoy what you have to say. You're providing something really useful to them. It's all about that, really, is what it's all about, is just creating a community on Instagram. And it should not matter how many followers you have, because it's more about the community online who are willing to talk to you, who feel engaged with you. And the bigger the audience, the harder it is to kind of relate to those people anyway. So don't be scared about numbers at all, because the more you're trying to create followers and trying to get people to follow you, and this is a part of any platform, like, the harder it's going to be. You want to just create a safe space for people and create good content and have it be useful, and they're going to come to you. And the more you do that, and the less you worry about creating followers and getting a lot of people to come join your page, the less they're going to, honestly. So forget that and throw that out the window and just focus on the people who are already there. I know that there was one good marketing guy, I think I follow him on Instagram or something, but he was basically like, if you had a big party and you had all these people there, you're not going to spend your time looking for more people to come to your party. You're going to engage with the people who are already at your party. Okay, so that's kind of what you're going here. So go ahead and talk to your party people who are already there, because you want to talk to those people and not think about the other people who are out in the world who are not at your party. Those people are going to come to your party because they're going to hear about it, and it's going to be awesome. So anyway, that's anyway. That is an example of what I'm trying to say. So a little off track, but so this is what my profile looks like. Here it is, and we'll go over top to bottom, and then we'll get into the formula, what I was talking about before. So I picked a very simple username. This is just the name of my business. I advise you do the same. Something that people are going to be able to find you easily, and so that could be your own name. Maybe they know your name better than what your business name is. Or it could be your business name. I chose my business name because that's kind of what I use across the board. And then once you choose that name, use that across all of your platforms so they can find you easily anywhere. So go ahead and choose that name, and then in my, you can put your real name underneath your username, and so that's what I did. So if they search for my name, it'll come up. And then you get to your bio, and keep this simple, keep it something that people can scan. This is why people have really simple bios, and it's kind of in order. So I say, this is what my Instagram account is about. So when people come, they're like, oh, she's about theme park tips, and it's specifically for grown-ups. I get that. Cool. I say that I'm Orlando local just because people like to know whether you actually live near Disney World or that sort of thing. But you don't necessarily have to put your location, and especially if you want to keep things a little bit more like private if you live in a small town or something. But you don't have to put your location. But if you live somewhere cool and it's a destination and people like to go there and travel, then you can do that. And then I tell them who I am. And so I say I'm a travel agent coach, I'm a writer, I'm a YouTuber. So they're like, oh, she's legit, she does things. One thing about the first one here, I would say that you want to make sure that you are offering something to them. So they're like, oh, I need to follow her because she offers great tips about theme parks, and that's what I'm interested in learning about. So go ahead and do that. And the last thing, this might come a little later for you if you're just getting started. Give them something that they can click on, and you'll probably want to do this no matter what, but I give them a link to all of my other things. And so this is Linktree, and we'll open this up just so you can see it. And Linktree will allow you to put multiple links in one place. And so the links will come here, and then they can click on my YouTube channel. Usually I'm like, hey, go to my website, like I have a new article up. So offer them something in return for visiting your Instagram. So they're like, oh, what you got? So I tell them they have free travel guides and more goodies. If you click on this link, I've got lots of presents for you. So offer them a present, because that will make them feel welcome and they'll want to come back. And so usually that's what people do, and that's where you want to put your links. And if your link is just your email address, That's great too. A way that they can contact you is what your link needs to be in your bio. Like, how are they going to find you? What do you want them to do? Do you want them to go to your website to fill out a booking form? Do you want them to email you? That sort of thing. Put that right there in your bio. Okay, so now we're gonna go over a couple examples of what I'm talking about as far as the formula. And so we'll use a couple of these in example. I'll show you a silly one, and then I'll show you a couple more. So sometimes you're gonna get no comments, but that's okay, because you convinced them to do other things, because your post wasn't necessarily about comments. But this is a great example of cross promotion, because I was promoting a YouTube video on my Instagram, and I'll show you what I mean in the caption as far as the formula that I took. This is it. This is gonna grab their attention. It's like, hey, this is it. This is what I want to talk about with you. You should pay attention. So that's my grabber, right? And I put a little emoji in there. Emojis sometimes help to grab attention. And then in the middle, this is me telling me what the YouTube video is about, why they needed to watch it, how cool it's going to be when they watch it, and how much information they're going to gain. So I'm going to say, talk about what to eat, what to drink, what to ride at Universal Orlando. This is what this is your ultimate tool for going to Universal Orlando this year. You should totally check it out, because it's going to be so useful to you. I gave you this video, I made it for you. So that's convincing them, like, that's the helpful information, like, there's a new video out there, and it's going to help you plan, and it's going to do all these great things for you. So that's the useful information. And then my call to action is find the link in my bio, which is most of the time is going to be a call to action on Instagram, or it's going to be comment below, or it's going to be go to my stories, it's going to be answer a poll, something like that. But a lot of it most of the time is find the link in my bio. So then they're going to be like, oh, I want to learn about this YouTube video. And there's your call to action. Then they go up here, they click on it, and they find my link tree. So that's kind of the funnel that's happening. Now I'm going to show you a silly one. So that was more informational. That's like more like, this is what I want you to do. There's something that's really important. And I'll show you some others in a second. This one got a lot of engagement, and I didn't expect it to, because I was just kind of being silly one day. But I was at a coffee shop, and it was in Orlando, so it's still affiliated kind of with my own deal with travel and being in Orlando and things you can do in Orlando. And I had a great sandwich. This sandwich was divine, and I wanted to tell everybody about it, and I didn't even think about it. I was just like, I'm even gonna put this on Instagram because it's pretty awesome. But why I put it on there is because the sandwich had sprouts on it. And it was hard for me to find a sandwich with sprouts, and I wanted to let everybody know that I found a sandwich with sprouts on it. And that seems really silly, but so many people commented on it, and they were like, I love sandwiches with sprouts. It's so hard to find sandwiches with sprouts. It's so hard to buy them, alfalfa sprouts, because it's almost discontinued in the US for a lot of reasons. But I was like, here it is. I found it. And if you're in Orlando, this is what you need. So I got tons of comments just by being real and not overthinking it, but it was useful, because people were like, yeah, I love sprouts on sandwiches, and it's hard to find those. Thank you for showing that to me. So it's super silly, but it totally worked. I got a conversation going, got tons of comments. People followed me. Like, sometimes those things just blow up. And so be real, but be helpful too. And it's usually a great combination. And we'll go over this formula again. I say PSA, like, hey, public service announcement, I got something to tell you, and it's huge, right? That's what a PSA means. And then I found a place that serves club sandwiches with sprouts, so I'm telling them what I'm talking about. And then I tell them where to go for the sandwich if you're in Florida, in Orlando specifically. And then my call to action is swipe to see what I'm talking about. So if they're like, sprouts, what does that mean? Why are you caring about sprouts right now? Or if they're like, oh my god, I love sprouts, I want to see these pictures, they're going to swipe, and they're going to look at my other pictures, and that's engagement. Instagram says, hey, they swiped on those pictures, they engaged it, we are going to show it to a lot more people, because people are engaging in this, and it seems very exciting, even though it's a sandwich with green stuff on it. So, also the picture is nice and flashy and bright, which we'll get to that in a second. And one more thing. let's see, I'll give you a kind of a bad example. So not everything is great. Not everything works perfectly. This is one example, and mostly for the video itself. I'll get to that again in a second, but this video was kind of dark, even though it's a video. Like, videos do better on most platforms, but this one had a kind of a dark tint to it that was bluish, and usually warmer, bright colors really do well on social media and all media marketing, basically. That's why you see a lot of like red and orange. And this one's kind of bluish and dark, and so it didn't grab people like I thought it would, because I thought it was a beautiful video. It is a beautiful video. It's of the boardwalk and I'm drinking coffee, and it's perfect. And I kept it really simple in my caption. I told them where to find the coffee, tell me about it if you love it, and I got some comments for sure. Like, sometimes I don't get any comments at all, but it still didn't grab people like I thought it would, and that's because it's not quite as bright. But anyway, yeah, those are some examples of what I'm talking about. This one was huge. This one kind of blew up too because I tagged a bunch of people in it. So if you go somewhere that has a bunch of different companies that are involved, I like to give them a shout out because they'll comment on it or they'll like it, so that'll give you some more engagement too. This happened to be a food truck place in Orlando that had a bunch of different businesses, and I ate all of it with my family, not just me. And I tagged all the businesses, told my followers where to get it, and then all of the businesses came and commented and liked it, and that was really helpful too. So that's a tip too. Anyway, you can check out my feed. As far as what's attractive on Instagram, usually you want to make a beautiful feed, and so, like, you know, nice pretty pictures and bright and fun. And then in your stories is where the realness can happen, and that's where you can kind of show more of your personal life. It's a more casual. You can talk about, you know, oh, I'm drinking coffee and planning a vacation today. Go ahead and direct message me if you got questions about it. Or yeah, I just posted about being at Disney World. Follow my stories and watch me go through the park a little bit, and that's where you can kind of post more interesting personal things. They're a little bit more down to earth. Lots to talk about Instagram. I'm gonna leave it there because that was a lot. So go ahead and comment below, like I've said a million times, if you have more questions. See, look, there's a call to action right there. It's a little meta, right? But I also mean it. Like, I totally mean it. If you have more questions about Instagram, I am totally happy to answer them. So comment below for that, or direct message me on Instagram. But we have more to talk about, so stay tuned. 1 second. Alrighty, last thing, how to grow your followers. Everybody wants to know about this, and I've touched on this, and you're gonna hear me reiterate some things on this slide, and that's okay, because I think it kind of needs to be cemented in as far as growing your followers, growing your fan base. The first tip I have is to engage. This is the most important tip I have. So you are trying to reel people in and become your clients, but you need to build trust with them. And in order to do that, you need to kind of like hold out your hand and be like, this is what I have to offer, and go and comment on things, go and like other people's stuff if they have public profiles, if they're commenting on your stuff. So I know it's harder for other platforms like Facebook. You're not really going to go to other people's stuff. You might go comment on a business page using your business page, but it's a little bit more difficult. So I do understand that. But like Twitter and Instagram and YouTube, you can go to other people's channels, use your business page, and comment on their things, like them, maybe even subscribe if you like them enough, and create a conversation with you and other people. And if people, I know that I do this all the time, if you go to like a hashtag on Instagram that's like Disney World and somebody's profile is public and they're okay with other people seeing their stuff on the internet, I'll give them a comment or a like, whoever they are. If they're just some random schmo who went to the castle, I'll be like, hey, cool picture. Or like, wow, I love that place. Something like that. It doesn't have to be crazy. Just like, hey, what's up? And that gives them an excuse to either look at your profile or they'll comment back. It's a good clue for the platform to be like, hey, this person's like actually trying to talk to people instead of beating the system and trying to get a bunch of followers and like taking shortcuts. Like, oh, you know what, we like this person. We'll give them some more exposure. So engage. It's great for you because you're building that tribe and you're building a trust and you're building a community. It's great for other people because other people want you to engage in their content. Like, it helps them out too. And it's great for the platform too, and they're going to expose you a little bit more when they see that you're actually using the platform for good. Again, I'll say it again, create helpful content. That's what's going to grow your followers. That's when it's going to make people want to follow you, because they're like, hey, she's like putting out a really great stuff. I need to follow her so I don't miss out on anything. Always want to do that. Make that your number one choice. And then invest in ads. And I know that's something that like people want to hear, but you're starting a business or you're already in a business, and there needs to be some investment happening. And one of the best ways to do that is to invest in advertisements. Like I said, Facebook is great for that. Instagram's okay. YouTube's a little weird. It's not really something that you can do very easily, but Twitter you can do it too, I think. But Facebook and Instagram are definitely great places to throw some money in and say, I'd like more people to see what I'm doing, and I advise doing that, or considering investing in ads and throwing a little money at your business, because it's going to help you grow a little bit. And then my last one, like, do not buy followers. Don't listen to anyone who wants to make you buy followers, and most people will say this as well. It's not going to help you grow. It's not going to help you build a community. Those bot followers aren't going to buy your stuff or use your services. They're just going to be there, and it's really, really transparent, because usually people can tell, okay, this person has 10 posts, but they have 10,000 followers. I don't understand what's happening, unless you're like Jennifer Aniston or something like that. But most of the time, people are going to go to your profile and be like, fake. Don't like this. This is weird. I am not going to follow this person because it's like a fake profile and creepy. So it never works. And Instagram doesn't like it either. And Facebook doesn't like it. And all these places, because they don't want you to do that. They don't want you to buy followers. So they're going to make you pretty much invisible and be like, this person's buying followers. We don't want her to do that. We would rather make her buy an ad, at least, or engage with other people. It's not what, buying followers is not what this is about. So don't do that. And then again, have fun. And I gave you so much information just now, but I want you to take everything with a grain of salt and think about what is best for you and what's best for your business. And hopefully it will help you go further in it. My tips will, but just use what is helpful for you. So if you heard one thing, if you got one thing from this, then that will probably help you accelerate. Again, engagement and creating something helpful, I think, is the secret sauce. So if you took anything from this presentations and you're just now tuning in and you've had it on in the background, engagement and also being helpful. That's the key to social media. That's all I gotta say. Okay, let's see. Is there anything else I have to say? Remember to have fun. That's all. That's all. That's all you need to do. And as far as my outro here, it's time for a call to action. Like I said, go ahead and subscribe to my YouTube channel if you want more lessons like this. I am sure I will dive into other aspects of marketing in the future, because it is such a huge topic and you have to break it down to a lot of different things. And so I'm going to do that in the future. If there's something specific you want me to talk about, please comment below, because it's so helpful for me to know what's going to help you out, and that's what I want to do. That's what this whole presentation was about, was me helping you, and now help me help you, right? So go ahead and make a comment below, subscribe, or click the notification bell if you want to be notified when my next video is coming out. And if you want to learn more about being a travel agent, starting your career as a travel agent, or growing your client base, subscribe, notify me, comment me, find me on Instagram at themeparksforgrownups. And that's it. Oh wait, there's more things. I give you free things. Okay, so first thing is I have a free course in the description below, which is how to jumpstart your career as a Disney travel planner. This can be applied to beginning travel agents as well. So if you're like, I don't know even where to start, but I watched this because I'm thinking about becoming a travel agent, that's where you start, is signing up for my free course, and I'll give you loads of information, and I'll even give you a discount on my paid course, which is Host Agency 101, which is how to choose a host agency and find which one is right for you, and then how to land that job. So go ahead and find links about that, and more information about becoming a travel agent and all that in the links below as well. Find me at themeparksforgrownups.com. All right, have a splendid day. I'll see you at the parks.